And Sherrel.
Sherrel is our passion for food columnist for the Oklahoman, and it is that time of year. Pumpkins are in season.
Oh yes.
You've got a pumpkin patch.
I do. I have a passion for pumpkins, and apparently they have a passion for me because every year they come back somewhere in my garden.
Wow.
And this year they come up in a little flower garden that I had, and of course the nice thing about them is they're so covered densely with leaves that you don't have many weeds growing. So it's a
That's
good way
nice.
they look after gardeners,
Yeah,
I think,
go.
to keep us from having to weed
Now
so
tell
much.
us about what we're doing today.
What we're doing today, I wanted to show you, so many recipes call for pumpkin puree, and if you're like me and you like to do things occasionally, if you're going to make something really special, then it's fun to know how to do the puree from the pumpkin. And we start with a pumpkin like this. I cut it in half, and usually it's an unequal half, which is not a big deal. And then I use ice cream scoops. It's kind of tough to get through all of this little...
That's a great idea.
Yes, we have this stringy stuff holding the seeds. And what I like to do is I put some of the just seedy parts that come out alone, along with a little bit of the stringy stuff in a colander. And I can later... not in the beginning, but a little later after that's had a chance to sit a little bit, I run water over it and pull away the string. Because then we can fry them or roast them in the oven and have those.
Definitely. So once you do that,
I put them on a cookie sheet or baking sheet. I try to use one that's fairly heavy and sturdy, so they don't go flopping off if the baking sheet bends. Yes, well, these are shrinking up now, but I can tell in the oven when they're done because if you just press on the surface a little bit, it's soft. And you can tell that very quickly in the oven. And so then you just use a spoon. Let's see, there's a serrated spoon right there, yes, that has little holes in it. I like to use that because sometimes these are quite watery. And then you just get the puree out.
Well, look at that.
And then what I like to do to get, it still is going to have a few strings, so I put it in a food processor or a blender will work, and then whatever liquid ingredients I'm going to use in the recipe I add with this, so it chops up all the, it just purees everything. And you can also, I'm going to just put some out on here and let any other extra water drain out of it. And it becomes kind of fragile as the pumpkin skin is cooked.
Very nice.
While we're talking about that, I wanted to share with you a fun recipe. This is for a double pumpkin bread. Most of us have heard of pumpkin bread, but I like to call this double pumpkin bread because I've taken the seeds that have already been harvested from the pumpkin.
How fun.
And you can find these, by the way. I found some at Buy for Less. And look in your grocery section. They're called pipetas, and those grocery sections that carry Hispanic ingredients. And then I just take, after something is, I generously butter a loaf pan and then turn this around.
And just let them fall into place.
Like so, and let them fall into place. And then when you get finished, this is what we have.
Oh, wow.
And these are wonderful loaves, but they're absolutely sort of covered with pumpkin seeds. And I think it adds such a pretty touch. You could put a little cinnamon and sugar on the top before you bake.
There you go.
But I love this. And using the real butter on the edge is so nice. And you can see it's coated all the way around.
It's double pumpkin bread.
Double pumpkin bread because it
fabulous.
uses the seeds and the pumpkin.
There you go. There you go. Now, will you have this recipe in the Oklahoman?
We'll have the recipe in the Oklahoman. And one thing, if the puree is a little bit watery, you can either drain it like this, or you can use that water, particularly in this recipe, and I'll be telling you how to do that.
Well, good. Wonderful. We'll check out the Oklahoman in the Life section and look for Sherrel Jones' Passion for Food column, and she'll tell you all about how to make double pumpkin bread. That sounds so good.
It is.
And some good tips on how to puree, I guess.
Yes, get the pumpkin out of the pumpkin.
There we go. There we go.
The meat out of the pumpkin.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie.